Alright, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for Dunique 21, I think. I don't remember exactly what it was in game. Um, okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on with my mouse. Bear with me right here. Okay, I have no clue what that was, but anyways, on to the topic at hand. It says you're looking to up your Roadhog game. Um, and usually I'll give people like pointers specifically of what they should be doing like generally. But I think it looks like you're still pretty new to the game. I believe you're a console player, and it looks like you're like I don't know, silverish on console, somewhere around there. I'm not really too familiar with how console looks in general, but like that's roughly what I was imagining. Anyways, what I'm referencing when I say I usually go over like general things instead of character specific things, is because usually I look at people's games that are more usually a bit higher rank, right? And that's not, and sometimes like necessarily I'll be like talking about a character, um, whether they're playing for like they're just fundamentally not doing things correct, and I can't like give them specific input on like what they should be doing mechanically. But Hog is a character which is like if you're not doing mechanically the right things, a lot of times you don't get a lot of value, or you don't get as much value as you could. I mean that's the same case for every character, right? But you kind of live and die by like using your tools correctly as Hog, right? And it's a character I'm very familiar with, right? And since you're still new, I can give you like pointers, but I think right now just getting down like the fundamentals of like how to actually use your character's kit is going to be more impactful than actually me like going too into the details, right? So I watched probably like 5-ish minutes of your gameplay. The big problem I see right now is you just look completely, I don't want to say like completely, but you look quite unfamiliar with Hog's kit, right? So a lot of times you're just like shooting people when they're far away, right? Like, see right now, he has reduced health because in the training range, tanks have 150 less HP. See in the bottom left-hand corner. I do too, right? So it looks like it's still doing okay damage, but like, I'm sure you can imagine, like, it's taking 7 shots to kill the Doomfist, right? I mean, he got a bit of healing, right? But really, when they're at range, what you want to do is use your right click. You see, like, when you right click him, I almost kill him with 2 shots. And if I was aiming for the head, he probably will get killed in under 2 shots, right? If it was a little closer. You see, like, he dies really fast. Obviously, in game, they're going to be moving around. He's going to have 150 extra HP, so it's not going to be that easy, right? So that's what you want to be doing when they're outside of a close range, right? You see, even like this is probably like 20 meters away, right? You're still 4-shotting the Doomfist, which is pretty good, right? And like, if I did the same with primary fire from this distance, yeah, it's like doing, I don't know, 50 to 25 damage. Like, this is totally insignificant, right? So, basically, my point here is when you don't have hook, or when your people are kind of far away, you kind of want to be spamming right clicks at the enemy tank, or the enemy players, right? You see, on squishies, you can one-shot them, right? So just like a bog standard squishy. Just one shot, no problem, right? So, and if you'll notice there, I actually messed up a bit. I was just slightly too close. If you're too close, you'll notice that the projectile actually doesn't explode, right? So this is kind of what you want to be positioning around, like microwaves as Hog. You want to be positioning yourself so you're just barely outside the explosion radius, and see, like, those are really good damage shots, right? I'm doing like almost 200 damage just on body shot, just from positioning myself correctly, right? If you're too close, obviously, you're like not doing anything, 50 damage or something, right? And this is a distance where like you want to be using left click, right? See, left click, honestly, is not even doing too much more than right click, or yeah, at that distance. So really, you want to be positioning yourself when you like don't have hook around this distance. One of the reasons is because like you see here, this does a lot of damage, and the other reason is that you're safer at this distance, right? So like if you imagine this is a Reaper, for example, if you're like at this range, you're not doing a whole lot of damage to him, right? I mean, obviously, he's not moving, right? So like I'm doing full damage, right? But you have to imagine he's shooting you back, so he's getting lifesteal, and he's moving around, making himself hard to hit. Whereas at this range, right, I can consistently like 2-shot him, right, without any headshots. And obviously with healing it's gonna be different, but he's doing way less damage to me, right? And that's why you really want to be sitting at this range, right? secondly, like left click, basically when you hit a hook, right? You really want to be left clicking, usually around the people's chin to head area. Depends on the character exactly, right? I'll show you like on Anna, for example. If you aim too high on Anna, right? Let me just pull her in, try to set up. You see, like if I aim too high, it's gonna like mess up the aim. You really want to aim towards her chin. You're gonna have to experiment character by character to figure that kind of stuff out, right? But currently, you can one-shot basically the entire squishy class, right? I think like Mei, Bastion, and Torb are the only characters you can, just because they have janky hitboxes or just like way too much HP, right? Um, yeah, so, and I bring this up because a lot of times I noticed you would like hook people in, and I don't know if you're doing it accidentally, but you'd right click. You see, like, like, it's pretty much no value, right? And like conversely, when people are far away, you're just sometimes left clicking. And I think you like caught on to this as the match progressed, right? When it's kind of like the opposite, right? You want to only be, or like, I don't want to say only, but you want to consistently left click when people are like, after you hook them or when people are really close, right? And then every other time, basically just right click spam people out. For those aforementioned reasons, right? And you're also kind of struggling with your hook mechanics, right? So when you hook, what you're doing, sometimes you'll hook people in and back up. You see, like, it takes 3 shots to kill the Torb there, right? Actually, let me swap a character that I know you can one-shot, right? Yeah, I'll just stay with Soldier, right? So, like, when you back up, sometimes you're doing this, and you see you leave him at 75 HP. Whereas instead of backing up after you hook, right, you want to walk like all the way forward, shoot him, you know, like in the head, neck, chin area, and then melee for like the full damage, right? Whereas you are just backing up a lot of times, you're losing a lot of damage because you do that, right? And it's also going to make your aim like inconsistent because obviously if I back up and look at their head, it does like even less damage because some of the pellets miss, right? So 2 things to keep in mind, right? If you want to continue playing Hog, right, there's like techniques you can turn off or pull off, like you're turning people to the side, which is by far the most useful one. There's other stuff you can look into, right, but that's kind of the gist of it, right? And that helps because you can move people out of LOS of their team, right? Kind of messed up there. Yeah, so I'll show you. I'll give you like a brief demonstration here, right? If you hook this guy, okay. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm messing up. Okay, so hopefully 3rd time's a charm here, right? So, okay. I have no clue why I keep messing this up. All right, 4th time it is then, right? So if I bring him over here, right, and this, you imagine this is his support. His support will have to walk further out to heal him, right? Or you'll kill him before you can even like make it back to his support's LOS. That's kind of like the big value of turning people around corners and stuff, and you can body block and stuff along those lines. I'll let you look into that on your own time, but yeah, right now the biggest problem I'm noticing is that like you're just not getting the mechanics down, and you're like missing out on a lot of value, right? And hopefully that demonstration, you know, a little longer than I wanted it to be, but hopefully that demonstration is pretty illustrative. Let's see here. Secondly, I think you mentioned yourself that you're like looking at the tank too much. I think I have to agree, right? I guess before we go any further, you also want to be shooting like every single time before you go for a hook, right? It's it'll do like, you know, however much extra damage, but just like guarantees you're gonna one-shot people way more consistently than you are now, right? So, and secondly, um, I want you to get in the habit of trying to ignore the enemy tank as much as possible. And like only engaging with the enemy tank when there's like no other like valuable target, right? Now you mentioned this. I don't think it's like horrible for you right now, but it is something to keep in mind going forward, right? So basically, I say that because if you hook anyone except the tank, you're pretty much guaranteed to one-shot them, right? And instantly put your team in a really favorable position to win the fight. But if you hook the tank, right? If you hook them point blank, it basically does nothing unless you one-shot them. And like they're the most suited character in the entire game to like survive your combo, right? Just because they have way more natural HP and they have like defensive cooldowns to use, and their supports can like save them with whatever cooldowns they have to. So just something to keep in mind going forward. If you have a better target than the tank, you should be looking to target them, right? So ideally you'd be walking out of spawn, you know, the moment the door opens, but whatever, right? I'm assuming this is a bit of unfamiliarity with the map, right? There's really, I say this because there's really no reason to like ever come up here. Like I don't think I've ever gone up here as Hog. I mean seriously not one time, right? So, but that's okay, right? See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like you miss a ton of damage here. Against better players, like they'll defense matrix that and pull that anyways, but like, you know, people are low elo because they make a lot of mistakes, right? Like they're just not using their cooldowns appropriately at all, and you can definitely catch people just not using their cooldowns correctly and just get picks, even where like it should be happening, right? Like Devo shouldn't save that guy too, right? But like so far so good, right? Like you're kind of doing the right thing, which I see a lot of like low elo players struggle with. They just sit on hook forever, and you pretty much use it off cooldown every single time, right? Which is really good. So here, this is like the big problem I was talking about, right? I wouldn't say this is a huge problem, but you saw the Life Weaver was walking this way, right? After you just killed 2 of his teammates, and you also know the Mercy is in here because you saw the healing beam, right? So when the D.Va flies to the left, what you should be doing instead is just walking into these supports that are completely isolated and killing them, right? Because you can one-shot them both, right? And D.Va is gonna take forever to kill, even if she's not actively getting killed, right? Here, right? You see there, you're kind of like backing up after you hook, right? When you just want to walk all the way forward to maximize damage, right? You see you're kind of like clicking right click. I've been saying left click and right click, but I'd imagine since you're on console, I guess it's left trigger and right trigger. I'm not quite sure. See here, right? Like, not only do you back up, but you also accidentally hit your secondary fire, right? And you just miss out on that kill on the baby D.Va, right? See? I mean, you get the kill here anyways, right? Here you can definitely just walk into that Mercy and try to get the kill on her, right? This is okay, right? Again, right, it's a little unfortunate that Mercy flies in the way, but try to get in the habit of shooting people before you go for hooks, right? Here you're just kind of in the middle of the entire enemy team, right? Like, I'll actually put like, this is kind of like, I wouldn't say a super high level thing, right? But like, you always want to be playing near cover, and you always want to like isolate yourself to like choose how many people are peeking you or you're peeking at one time, right? You see here, the Bastion can see you from this direction, right? The Junkrat can see you from this direction, right? The D.Va is like about to use bomb or whatever, but hypothetically she could see you from this direction, right? So you have nowhere to hide in the middle of point. So you kind of want to be choosing a spot to anchor. Not to say you literally just have to sit there AFK and just look for stuff, but you want to be playing around cover and like seeing what you can do from a certain angle, right? Like if I can't do anything from here, right? Let's imagine this Junkrat's not here, nor is the Bastion. Then I can, for example, rotate up here and then just say, oh god, oh, okay, now the Junkrat's there and I can do something, right? That's kind of like the gist of playing around cover as Hog, right? But you see here, like, shouldn't really be walking in the open. If you're taking a lot of damage, just use your breather cooldown, right? Fast forward a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, it's like the most fun part about playing Hog, right? You just kind of waddle back to point. Here, you should have seen the trap on the floor, but again, right? Like, yeah, that sounds like it's kind of a silly mistake, right? You really should have seen that trap. But once you start getting blown up by this Junkrat, you can see you die really fast in Hog, right? Like, you're impossible to miss. You have like no armor. So if you start taking a lot of pressure, just don't feel afraid to hold down your breather just to live, right? It's more important for you to live and like miss than to like kill someone and just die, especially as tank, right? Like, you're just more valuable than like the other people in your team. Usually speaking, right? That's a good general rule, especially as Hog. Because Hog isn't like a tank that can just run in. You know, I'll say this now, kind of in passing. Hog isn't a tank that can run in, like force out a ton of cooldowns to get value. You kind of need to play like DPS to get value as Hog. Right. Maybe your gun kind of blocked that Bastion, but you should definitely try to kill it. It's fine. You don't know where the tire is, so. Yep, this is alright. I do appreciate that your hookup time is actually really quite good. You're not just sitting on the cooldown forever. So, alright, I'm gonna fast forward a bit here. I don't think anything's really going quite yet. So again, right, really easy just to get prior damage on the D.Va. It's okay to shoot the D.Va in these positions because you can't do anything else, right? So like, you see, this isn't useful, right? Or this isn't useless, right? Because you're pulling the D.Va from here, which is kind of in the sight of our entire team, to all the way over here, right? Which is a pretty far distance, and importantly, it's in the middle of your entire team, right? Right, so like your Mercy and Zen can shoot her, right? Like obviously your Mercy isn't gonna shoot her. Your Ashe could turn around and shoot her now. I don't know where your Freya is right now, but like in principle, oh, she could turn around and shoot her too, right? And it also forces the enemy team to peek in this hallway, right? If they want to like help their D.Va, right? Which I'm sure you can see the problem. If they do that, 5 people are looking at them, right? Which is like not good. So this is a good position to shoot the tank because, or hook the tank, because 1, you have nothing else to do, and 2, you're kind of like messing up where their position is, right? Putting them in the like in front of your entire team, right? Again, right? You see left click, kind of not doing anything in that distance. Start right clicking and you just do a ton of damage immediately. So here, don't go for hooks when you're low HP. Like again, your priority should be like trying to stay alive, first and foremost. I mean, obviously it's contextual, but I'd say like below 400-ish HP, I usually am not going for hooks, right? Okay, nice. Don't know if that was for the D.Va or the Weaver or not, but regardless. Nice. Here, cut it close, I would definitely be holding down breather, right? Nice kill. Alright, I like that target priority. Okay, their entire team's dead. Against their team comp, they don't have like a super fantastic way of killing you, right? So like this is kind of a higher level thing. And when I say that, they don't have anything like an Ana or a Mauga or like a Zen or you know, some sort of speed rush comp that can just rush you down really easily. And they also have a Weaver, which is kind of like annoying for you, right? He can pull and save his teammates from your hook, right? So like in these positions, right, they have kind of annoying cooldowns defensively against you, and they don't really have the greatest offensive pressure against you. I like to set up off card early and try to like get an early pick or try to force out pull early, right? I didn't watch this part, so I don't know if that's what you're about to do, but sitting on cart is like, it's okay, but you could definitely be doing more, right? Yeah. I mean, holding the corner up here is also okay, right? You know they're probably gonna, someone at least is gonna peek that corridor, so it's like, okay. Okay, good job, right? You see, like, it sounds silly to say good job with your Mercy. It did not, right? Like, really simple play, but really good, right? Like, sometimes doing the right thing is just really simple, and some people just don't do it. Here, I don't like this ult, right? I don't think anyone on their team was dead, right? So, like, if you were denying res, sometimes I use Hog ult to, like, push Mercy away if I don't have a hook. But I don't think anyone was dead on their team, right? So she literally can't res. And 2, like, you guys capped out. So, like, even if they wipe you guys right now, they're only burning, like, you know, 15 seconds off the clock, which doesn't do anything. Still gets decent value, right? You demech the D.Va. That one's not on you, right? The junk moves you away, right? Like, if people deny your hook, you can't do anything about that, right? I mean, it's a bit of a simplification, but, like, it's okay. Again, right? Kind of mess up the input there. Should've knows that Junkrat, right? And again, try to shoot the D.Va before you go for the hook. I think it's okay to trust your team to deal with the D.Va 1-on-5 or 1-on-4. You could definitely have been shooting her a bit more, but it's not the end of the world, right? Again, right, like, against this comp, you could definitely play a bit more for it, right? Yeah, if you walk forward there, you would have killed the Junkrat, or at least pulled. And honestly, the Weaver should have pulled. But yeah, that's alright. If you walk forward, you would have killed that Junk. This is alright, right? This D.Va's trolling. She's sitting in the middle of your team, so your team should be able to help you there in principle. This is fine, right? Giving up space because you're down resources. You're again, right? You're really low. I wouldn't be pushing for it, right? When you're low with no breather, okay. How did you guys get that's wild? When you're low with no breather, you gotta like give up space, right? Because you just can't like actually anchor a point of the test. Obviously, because you're low HP and you have no tanking ability. Here as Roadhog, I'm pretty much always setting up top right. Sometimes I'll set up top left, depending on like the exact situation. But really, just like sitting high ground or starting high ground is always like really beneficial as Hog, because if you are not getting value high ground, you can always drop down and it takes you a second. But if you aren't getting value low ground, if people just rotate around you, you have to waste like 10 seconds to go back high ground, right? So something to keep in mind in the future. I also don't like playing this far forward. It's a little too easy to get rushed, right? It's just the way these maps go. Usually on these like hybrid maps, you only get like one good fight on first, so you might as well play around point where like your defensive capabilities are the strongest, right? And this is kind of what I was talking about, right? This diva just went by you, and there's like nothing you could have done just because your positioning was on the floor. Something to keep in mind. Okay, unfortunate. Obviously should have had ammo loaded there, right? But it's okay. You pull them in the middle of your team, so. Okay, good. You're going for the torp, whatever. You're still getting value by forcing out resources from their team, right? It's okay to shoot the diva here, because she's just going to defense matrix all your hooks, if you don't, in principle, right? Okay, nice try, right? Again, if you're low, let me rewind that, right? If you don't have hook, don't get too greedy doing this stuff, right? You can see this is kind of a low probability shot of hitting stuff from this distance and actually killing the Juno. So at this position, especially because your heal comp's really bad, right? You're on Mercy's and your Mercy's even dead. So like you just kind of have to play a little safer, right? Just because something like that can happen, right? You get flanked by the junk and just die for it, right? Whereas you should have just let the Juno go, because you guys already picked the tank, and you kind of like already got your value on, right? Like if you kill the tank, you're like you've already put in like a lot of value, right? Just kill the tank and live, it's like good value. It's okay. Unfortunately, it looked like there's a bit of like stutter or input something or another there, so kind of caused you to miss out a bit. Right. Okay, so it looks like you knew the door was like here, right? And you're just like, you walked in here and you're like confused why you weren't going in the door. Quick tip, Hog's damage, or Hog's breather does give you damage reduction, I think 40%. So you can actually live this point blank if you just use your breather, right? Yeah, and obviously like, probably a bit of map unfamiliarity, right? Like it looks like you were looking for that doorway and you just kind of got stuck and messed up. You know, it happens sometimes, it's not the end of the world. In this position, you really want to be on cart, just because they're so close to capping out. Here, this is definitely a position, right, where your target priority kind of like messes you up. You see this Diva's already demeched, and you see the Mercy's going for a res. That's kind of like the most impactful thing would be to hook the Mercy out of res, because you're pretty much denying like a 25-second cooldown, and like you're kind of like killing the Mercy's value, right? She's just not good when she doesn't like have res on. Unfortunately, you really should have just stayed cart there, right? As tank, like you kind of have to stay cart in those overtime positions, so you don't cap out. Here, needless to say, I'm not really a huge fan of holding here, but if your team wants to hold here, whatever. Again, if you moved in there, you probably would have been able to get that one shot, right? Okay, nice. Like I said, your mechanics kind of mess you up there. Like, if I were to do that, I would have gotten the Torb pick and live. So you could either like look at that in two ways, right? I still like that you're going for these hooks all the time, right? But you either need to like execute the mechanics correctly, or just wait till you're a bit healthier, right? You're kind of like that. I don't know how to say it. Okay, you're kind of at that I guess Goldilocks zone, right? Right around 400 HP, where it's kind of risky to go for stuff like that, right? And that's why, right? If you mess it up, you die. Um, with more experience, you just won't mess it up. Because if like you hit it and mess it up, that's what kills you. Because if you miss, you don't stun lock yourself, and you can just heal right away afterwards. So here, obviously, you can't do damage to the Diva Bomb. Yeah, I mean, not much more to say there, right? I think it's okay that you hooked it. I don't know what the position your team was, but you should just try to take cover, right? After you hooked it. This is an okay hog ult. You push him off the cart and push him away so your team can kind of take space, right? If this is a Junkrat cart, you just gotta pay more attention to that guy, right? It's kind of the big blunder of that fight. I'm assuming that's probably round. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, just be a bit more aware of the Junkrat, right? Probably an experience issue. Okay, I don't know why you got pulled, but whatever. If nothing's happening, you can just reload, right? If like all you see is a tank using their defensive cooldown in your face, just go ahead and reload. Again, kind of mechanics get messed up there, right? Should have been an easy one shot. I don't know why you keep getting pulled, but that's alright. Again, right, you knew the Junkrat and Torb were left. Try to shoot them instead of the Diva. Okay, very good. Probably already know what I'm gonna say there, right? Okay, nice. Good job turning for the junk. Oh no, don't tell me you guys can't. Okay, thank God. Their entire team's dead, so I'm gonna fast forward a bit here. You could definitely be going for hooks, right? I feel like you've gotten scared because it's overtime, but like, this is still a good time for go for hooks, right? Like, your team's fighting. These people are fighting without a tank, which is like a super opportune time for you to like go for hooks, right? Because nothing can like save them, right? And everyone in principle can get one shot on their team. You really want to be the one on card here, right? Don't let your Bastion do it, because you have more HP than he does, right? It's tank. In these positions, like, you kind of have to be the one card. So, yeah, again, right? Like, you just have to be the one on card, like, these overtime positions, because, like, Hog isn't great at playing objective, but, like, everyone else on your team is even worse. So you just kind of don't have an option, right? It's kind of like, that's kind of how it goes.
2-1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Again, yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of playing lower. I don't hate this, just because you can potentially flank their backline, but it's just so inconsistent, right? Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Get the kill anyways. But you see, if you just walk forward, you'd be getting kills so much faster, right? Actually, small note here. This is actually a problem Hogs have. See, this Diva is just like kind of completely unaware right next to you. If tanks are already right next to you, don't bother hooking them unless you're trying to like blow or like deny cooldown from, or deny value from one of the cooldowns, right? So like, if she's just holding Matrix in your face, or she's boostering away, that's a good time to like hook her, right? So you burst her down. But if she's just not paying attention to you and she's already low, just keep shooting her. And then hook her when she's about to use her cooldowns or whatever to deny this value. So she's like guaranteed to die, right? Because you see, like if she's already point blank, you're not really gonna miss a tank anyways, and you just like save your hook for the next few seconds to like kill someone else, right? Like if you didn't have hook, you wouldn't have killed that Mercy, right? That's kind of the exception to the rule, right? I'll be trying to go for that Juno above, right? You see you have a pedal on the floor. She's also isolated. Okay, nice. Okay, it's fine. You couldn't have walked forward there anyway, so. Should have hooked a bit sooner there, right? I like you're shooting first, but if you see someone, just don't hesitate, right? If you see a squishy, I should say don't hesitate, just because your gun's kind of inconsistent. Here, kind of a cover usage thing, right? Not the end of the world, right? Kind of the thing I was talking about at the beginning of the game. As you get better, right, you'll be able to, I guess, implement that a bit better. But it's not something I really want you to hard focus on right now. Obviously, if you can, great, but nice try. Doesn't really matter. Miss, right? I should say I'd rather you go for stuff like that and miss, but do the the higher value move than not do it in the first place, right?
60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, not much to do here. Right? I think it's okay value from your ult, right? Tire is really dangerous for your team. Yeah, not the end of the world. It's okay to use. Okay, again, right. Just hold down breather and you won't die to stuff like that, right? And if you're playing a bit closer to cover, also would not have died there, right? So.
30 seconds.
I'm laughing because I'm not used to people dying to D.Va bomb as much. Not you in particular, just like the entire lobby. Nice. You see that works? Hooking the D.Va there works again because like you see you pull her here, and you see your entire team can literally turn to look at her, right? And their entire team is just too far away to help the D.Va, right? And that's a really good position or timing when you should like hook them. Nice, good stuff. When you're in Zen ult, right, just don't even bother healing unless you're taking a ton of damage, because he already heals like 300 healing per second. Obviously, I say if you're taking a ton of damage, you want to heal, because you still get the damage resistance. Alright, hopefully he knows the chunk jumped above you. Unfortunate. I know you try to stop it, right? I think it was a soft cooldown. I would say if you walk forward there, Mercy dying would have made a big difference. It seems like your team pulls off some good stuff here, so. Oh no, please. Thank God. Okay, if you're a bit faster, you can deny the remake, but that's okay. Okay, so unfortunately that's game. It's close. Maybe your clutches? I highly doubt it. That'd be kind of wild. Nah, it's impossible. Okay, so yeah. Right. Like this is obviously like I guess you're pretty obviously fairly new to the game, especially like Hog in general, right? So I really want you to try to focus on getting those mechanics down, right? Just that alone is just probably the best thing you can do in Hog at low ranks. In general, actually, I think usually if people just like really up their mechanics, they can easily like climb. Um, and when I say that, I mean just like general aim, and I don't think your aim is like that bad and holding you back. Just like getting the actual mechanics specific to hog down will really help, right? I say that because good mechanics are by far the easiest way to climb, right? Like a lot of people say they don't matter, but they absolutely do. Obviously, that's a little like tangential to the point here, because these mechanics aren't like your aim; it's like hog specific, right? But like getting those down will just get you kills so much more consistently and so much faster and just like help you dominate lobbies more so than you are now, right? Like I think this is a pretty decent showing. I think you're definitely like probably the stronger tank here, right? I mean it's hard to say off of just one game, but like that's the implication I was getting, right? Um, Secondly, right, target priority could use some work, right? And I guess like target awareness, I'll add on to that, right? Um, I don't think it's like terrible. Definitely not. Like you're not looking at the diva all the time, right? And it's okay to look at the tank. in specific scenarios, right? But like there are circumstances where like kind of like the mercy res is kind of in front of your face sometimes, and just like don't pick up on the fact that you can like deny the res or people are like kind of walk off your screen, and you're just kind of like too focused on what you can do immediately rather than just being like a second or two more patient to like get the more valuable play, right? And I hope that makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, this stuff will come with experience, right? But if and there are like this other things I mentioned in this VOD review, if you work on, that'll also help. Also help. But I think those two things, right? Just the hog mechanics in particular, right? Um, and the slightly better target priority slash like target awareness, will help a lot, right? And obviously just play time in your case, right? So I hope this helps.